So we are continuing our Heroes of the Old Testament series, and we're moving to Ruth. And you know, I'm always harping on reading Scripture, right? Read. Well, this morning, you're going to be able to say that you read the book of Ruth. How about that? Ruth, chapter 1. In the days when the judges ruled, there was famine in the land, so a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there for about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Now, you have to understand, in this context, this is a big deal. In the Old Testament, back in this day, women didn't have rights like we do today. It was all about the men, and the men were now all gone. And so they were going to have trouble finding a way to survive in that time. And that moves us forward. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Again, the focus is that if they can't find a husband, if they can't find a man, then they are going to they're going to be struggling just to survive. And so Naomi here is actually trying to do the kind thing, Go find somebody else, because it's not going to go there. And don't worry about me, even though Naomi didn't have anybody either. And so then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up, or would you remain unmarried for them?" And that doesn't make a lot of sense to us, again, except that it's a lineage thing. They are called guardian kinsmen. And they would be, so if brother died and his wife then would become part of the brother's home so that she could have kids, so that she could hopefully have a male, so that male would then grow up and take care of the family. Here's how it worked. This is Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10. If brothers dwell together, one of them dies and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not be married to a stranger outside her family. Keep it in the family. Her husband's brother shall go into her, take her as his wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. And it shall be that the firstborn son which she bears will succeed to the name of his dead brother, that his name may not be blotted out of Israel. But if the man does not want to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate of the elders. Anybody know the importance? We've talked about this Friday night, so I know some of you do. The importance of the gate. What's the deal about the gate? Court. Yeah, it's where they would hear cases of dispute among the Israelites, that they would go to the gate to hear those. So that's why the gate. So if the man doesn't take him, go up to the gate and to the elders and say, "My husband's brother refuses to raise up a name to his brothers in Israel. He won't perform the duty of my husband's brother," kinsman redeemer. "Then the elders of the city shall call him and speak to him. But if he stands firm and says, 'I don't want to take her,' then his brother's wife shall come to him in the presence of the elder, remove a sandal from his foot, spit in his face, and answer and say, 'So shall it be done to the man who will not build up his brother's house.' and his name shall be called in Israel the house of him whose sandal was removed. And that puts context around some of the shoe throwing in the Middle East, I guess. So Naomi is doing what she thinks best, right? She's pointing out that even if, and she talks about, if I had another son, it wouldn't work because he's not going to, by the time he gets old enough, you're going to be too old to have kids. Are you going to wait on him to grow up to be old enough to be with you? So we go on. No, my daughters, it's more bitter for me than for you because the Lord's hand has turned against me. I bold that because it's an interesting statement, and it's where she was at that time. But we're going to revisit that here after a little bit. At this, they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or turn back from you. You may have heard this morning. Where you go, I go. Where you stay, your people will be my people. Your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. And when Naomi realized that Ruth was about to go with her, she stopped urging her to go. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, what's the importance of that town? The whole town was stirred because of them. And the woman exclaimed, can this be Naomi? Don't call me Naomi, she said. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, and arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. And we move to chapter 2. Now, Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a man of standing from the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. Have we heard that name before? Who is Elimelech? The husband of Naomi. Correct. So this is the same clan, is the importance. And there's a point to all this. We're moving slowly. What's it going to be? See, that seems like that's a throwaway, right? Naomi had a relative, a man of standing, but why? Why mention Boaz? What difference? What does he have to do with anything? Well, Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone whose eyes I find favor. Again, this is how she was going to provide for herself, to go behind the harvesters. She didn't have anything. Naomi said to her, go ahead, my daughter. So she went out, entered the field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, dun, 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 she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech, the clan of Naomi's husband. Just then Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. The Lord be with you. The Lord bless you, they answered. Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, who does that young woman belong to? The overseer replied, she is the Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi. She said, please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters. She came into the field and has remained here from morning until now, except for a short rest in the shelter. So Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting. Follow along after the women. I've told the men not to lay a hand on you, and whenever you're thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled. At this, she bowed down with her face to the ground and asked him, why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner? And Boaz replied, I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you didn't know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord. You put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I don't have any standing, even of one of your servants. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, come over here, have some bread, and dip it in the wine vinegar. When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted, had some left over. As she got up to glean, Boaz gave orders to his men, let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some of the stalks for her from the bundles. Leave them for her to pick up and don't rebuke her. So Ruth gleaned in the field until the evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to about an ephah. That's just a, yeah. Ruth's caught the eye of Boaz, right? And he's from he's the right clan, the clan of Elimelech, and they seem to even have hit it off. So let's see if she gets the rose. Something's very wrong with me. She carried it back, the ephah, she carried it back to town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out and gave her what she had left over after she had eaten enough, and her mother-in-law said, where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you. Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one at whose place she'd been working. The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz. The Lord bless him, Naomi said. He's not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead. She considered herself dead. She didn't have a life anymore. This man is our close relative. He's one of our guardian redeemers. Then Ruth the Moabite said, he even said to me, stay with my workers until they finish harvesting all my grain. Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it will be good for you, my daughter, to go with the women who work for him, because in someone else's field you might get harmed. So Ruth stayed close to the women of Boaz to glean until the barley and wheat harvests were finished. She lived with her mother-in-law. It's looking good still. And Naomi now decides to lend her hand. Chapter 3. One day, Ruth's mother-in-law, Naomi, said to her, my daughter, I must find a home for you where you will be well provided for. Now Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, get dressed in your best clothes, then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know that you're there until he's finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying, then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do. I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. And when Boaz had finished eating and drinking, was in good spirits, he went over to lay down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. Who are you? I'm your servant Ruth. Spread the corner of your garment over me, because you are a guardian redeemer of our family. Yay, the rose. The Lord bless you, my daughter. This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run to the younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid, for I will do for you all you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character. Although it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. So Boaz is not first in line. There's another. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his job as your guardian redeemer, good. Let him redeem you. But if he's not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning. So she lay at his feet until morning, but got up before anyone could be recognized, and he said, no one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor. Bring me the shawl you're wearing and hold it out. And when she did, he poured into it 6 measures of barley and placed the bundle on her. Then he went back to town. When Ruth got back with Naomi, he said, how did it go? And then she told her everything that Boaz had done for her and added, he gave me these 6 measures of barley, saying, don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed. That's always a good idea. Then Naomi said, "Wait, my daughter, until you find out what happens, for the man will not rest until the matter is settled today." So this is another complicated thing that has to be dealt with. Apparently, Boaz wasn't first in line to redeem the land, so they got to go through more. Boaz went up to the town gate, sat down there. Town gate is court. He went to the courthouse, sat down there just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down, and Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here." And they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of those seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right to it except you, and I am next in line." "I will redeem it," he said. And here's the "oh, by the way" part. Boaz said, "On the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth, the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property." Wait, what? Hang on. Time out on this land transaction. Who? And he said, "I can't redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it." Now, in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. And this was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. So the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, "Buy it yourself." And he removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, "Today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilion, and Mahlon. I've also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you are witnesses." Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah." So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. When he made love to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive. She gave birth to a son. The women said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout all of Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him." Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The women living there said, "Naomi has a son." It wasn't hers, it was Ruth's, but it was hers. Same, And they named him Obed. And here it gets really interesting. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse was the father of David. Interesting dynamic that just happened here. And probably why the book of Ruth is in the Bible. So let's finish the genealogy. This then is the family line of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron, father of Ram, father of Amminadab, father of Nahshon, father of Salmon, father of Boaz, father of Obed, father of Jesse, father of David. If Ruth isn't faithful and staying with Naomi and sticking out the tough times, we have a disruption in the line of David. Anybody want to guess why that's important? Yep. So as it is, though, Ruth's son has Jesse, Jesse has David, and along the way, Jesus is part of this line. And Ruth and Boaz are important in this lineage. This is what it looks like. If Ruth removes herself from that, There is no Obed, Jesse, David. If Boaz doesn't redeem Ruth, there is no lineage. How crazy is that? That God can take what looks like a convoluted mess. What was it that Naomi said in the beginning? That God has deserted her? Nope. What was her choice? Ruth, go home. Where you go, where you stay, your God. That's right. It's incredible, isn't it? This little 4-chapter book, which y'all just read. The Book of Ruth's themes are loyalty, redemption. And hear this, man, it's the surprising ways that God works through ordinary people. Ordinary people. Naomi didn't see it. Ruth didn't see it either. Boaz didn't see it. None of them saw what God was doing. We have the blessing of being able to look back at what it was. Ruth's faithfulness to Naomi, Boaz's kindness and role as kinsman redeemer, their eventual marriage and lineage leading to King David, leading to Jesus, all show us God's redemptive plan and the love he has for his people. He will do whatever is necessary to bring about his will in this place. I don't care what the world looks like. I don't care what they say. God is at work, and God has always been at work. Always been at work. We have stories like this because it's 4 chapters in a book that's pretty big, but incredibly important. Her story: stay faithful, trust God. Stay faithful, trust God, even when you can't see it. Even when you can't see it. Don't worry what it looks like from the outside. Don't sweat that, because God is at work underneath it, around it, and in it. Stay faithful to the rock. We're going to sing a little bit about staying faithful, I think. He is our firm foundation. He ain't going to leave us. He won't.